TechBusters proudly brought to you by Ericsson.
Good evening and welcome to TechBusters, your one-stop shop for everything technology. Joining me in studio is the remarkable, the utterly incredible, the fantastic photographer, Aki Anastasio.
Yeah, well, talking about photography, thank you, Toby. Lovely to see you. Talking about photography, one of the reviews on the show tonight is going to be the Huawei P9, which has got one of Toby's favorite camera brands, the Leica camera brand, on the back of it. So we'll talk about this phone tonight and the photography that it does. And remember to join in the conversations. Tell us what phone you're using as a camera. It's always a big focus on the smartphone today. You can join the conversation. We're at TechBusters SA. But before we do anything, let's tell you more about what's coming up on the show tonight, including the review of the Huawei P9.
Tonight on TechBusters, Toby investigates the importance of water management systems at the Israeli Water Week in Sandton, and the team popped into Africa's largest health exhibition to investigate nuclear magnetic resonance therapy. It's high tech all the time, tonight on TechBusters.
So many years ago, 25 years ago, I was a backpacker and I found myself in Israel working on a farm in a desert, and I saw firsthand just how efficient the Israelis are with water. And it's this efficiency, this understanding of this very priceless commodity that we have needed here in South Africa. I popped over to a demonstration the Israeli embassy organized about how they manage water and spoke to an eminent professor there about how they look at water management in a country that is essentially a desert. Let's take a look. So what are some of the highlights that Israel does to make water more than just, something that comes out of a tap?
The largest consumer of water in South Africa, around the world, is the agricultural sector.
Yes.
In order to be able to decrease dramatically the amount of water supplied to every sector is, above all, elevate water use efficiency by the agricultural sector. Next to it are the municipalities. Municipalities actually demand high quality of water. That means the most expensive water. If that water is not used appropriately, in an efficient way, we waste resource.
Exactly.
And bear in mind that more than 80% of the water that we pump every day to the municipalities are released in the very same day or during nighttime as sewage away from the cities. So even you use the water in the most efficient way, you have a resource in your hands that, if treated as we observed in several presentations today, it is a resource. It can be used by the surrounding farmers. Every municipality is surrounded by agriculture community. And to elevate the efficiency of the water maintenance. 40% leakage is not acceptable.
Yeah.
It's a waste, especially because
Indeed.
we pump high quality of water into the cities. So if you take these three parameters into consideration, you can make a change. Unlike you give it a value, unlike you price water, people do not appreciate it, people do not have the incentive to elevate water use efficiency. Without that, there is no way to proceed. The fourth parameter is education. You have to educate the public to appreciate water as a resource. It is a dramatic resource. You have to look for additional water. It can come from treating sewage water, and here you have, as we say, two pigeons in one shot. You save the environment, you ease the burden on the environment,
exactly.
And by reclaiming the water, you actually use it for food production. And all other cheaper resources are not sufficient to provide what is needed, you have to manufacture water. Whether it's going to come from brackish groundwater or oceanic seawater, that's what we are looking for.
Ambassador Arthur Leck, you're a good friend to South Africa, and you've brought this really remarkable Water Week to the country to talk about just how successful Israel has been in managing what is a very scarce resource, and share some of the great ideas with South Africa. Just tell us a little bit around your thinking and Israel's thinking about how to maximize this very scarce resource.
Why do we look at diamonds or oil or coal that come out of the ground as something of value, but not water? But water is life. We can live without coal. We can't live without water. And so we have to put a price and a value on it to make people respect it. And it's not a secret. And it's not patented technology. It's almost all stuff that's on the table and available if a combination of government and industry and the public realize that our lives depend on it, that our food security, our agriculture, our very future depends on us being water secure. Israel desalinates water because we don't have a choice. We needed to make the pie bigger. But you have easier solutions. If you just saved the leakage from municipal pipes and cut that down from 40% to 20%, look how much more water you have. If you're able to use drip irrigation, 95% of the farmers in Israel use drip irrigation. In South Africa, they say it's 10 to 15%. If we could get half of the farmers in South Africa to use drip irrigation, think about the amount of water. That's free water.
Indeed.
That already exists.
Well, you've heard about the video game industry being massive, in fact, overshadowing Hollywood. And, gaming is big news around the world. But we don't often hear about local game developers or games coming out of South Africa. Well, we recently got a whisper that there's a game called Django that's been developed in South Africa. We got the two developers in the studio, Louis Dubasson and Graham Sylvan, who are joining us in the studio. And gents, it's fantastic to have you in the studio with us. How would you describe your game? The game is called Django, right? What is it all about?
The game is a retro throwback to the point-and-click golden era that enveloped our childhoods when we were aspiring to be rock stars. And now that we are rock stars, we just want to be game developers.
Okay. If I had to ask you about the actual style of game, it's not necessarily skip, squat, and donut type of game. It's how would you?
I want people to. It's it's very story driven,
okay.
And we want to get people back to thinking. So there's a lot of puzzle solving in it.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's a comedy adventure game.
It's not about Larry. What's this called?
Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit
Wait,
Larry.
I just admitted to knowing what you're talking about on TV.
All right, now listen. Take us back a second. I mean, how did you guys get together to do a game like this? Where did this all start?
In my previous band, Nave, we had a music video launch party, and Graham was alone and scaring the other clients, so I tried to kick him out, but then we became friends and started talking about gaming. And then
this happened many years ago.
In 2007, in fact, and then he said he's going to call me to, we can start a game, and it took him 8 years to do that.
And here we are.
Thanks, Graham.
And how long have you been developing this game for, and when are we going to see, the finality of it?
We started developing in about June 2015, and we were hoping for Q1 2017 to release.
Now the reason why I'm asking the question is because when you look at the current game developers and you look at the market. I mean, Graham, you're in the business yourself.
Very fortunate.
At Megarom, and these guys talk about massive budgets. Here, you two designing this, doing the graphics, doing the music. It's like a huge task to do, and I'm sure it occupies quite a bit of your time. But what does it actually take to develop a game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what it really is time, because we're not hiring any sets or, it is just, we start on a blank page in regards to writing, in regards to creative character design and all that. So it really is just giving up a lot of hours of sleep, and friends might be jolling and we're working.
So you're on the creative side.
Yeah, I'm doing the writing and I suppose the bulk of the writing. You know, like we bounce everything off each other, and I do the visual stuff, the animation and the character creations and the world and all that.
And Graham does what? You do like the programming stuff?
I'm the programmer, a technical guy, level designer, and I help assist on the writing. So we're actually building the game in Unity, which is a really powerful tool which everybody can get out there for free.
Yes.
You can start for free, and then when you put your game out, you actually purchase a license. So you can build your entire game within Unity, and then when you're ready to push to market, you can buy a license.
So is it quite difficult to take something like this to market?
I suppose it needs to look good. We had a German publisher that was interested. They want to see the build a little bit further down the line before they actually throw capital behind us. But I mean, I think it was just a case of the concept and the visual being striking. You know,
and our concept really is quite unique, and we think it's going to resonate with a lot of gamers out there, and gamers our age. Because we tap onto a lot of gaming tropes from when we were young, but it will also appeal to the young audience too. So it's a parody adventure too. So the main character actually gets warped into the world of failed video game characters. So you'll see the guy there that went to audition for the Super Mario Brothers role but didn't get it.
Yes.
So we play a lot in that. So while you're playing the game, you go, oh, this is quite cool. That guy's like the Mario
It's
guy.
all the downtrodden, we call them player threes, you know, the guys that didn't quite make, you know, like the second controller. Like these guys have all just congregated in this desolate part of the Pixelverse in this bar, and they're just drinking and lamenting their lives away.
It's quite evident you guys don't get out of it.
No.
not anymore. And I've also recently become a dad too, so that makes it even tougher.
But now here's a question. The actual industry is so diversified. So you're developing this amazing game, as you can see in the visuals playing in the background. So how do you decide whether it goes Xbox way, PlayStation 4, PC, mobile? I mean, is it going to be available on all those platforms?
So
do you have to design specifically for that?
Correct. So our plan actually is because we're quite a small team, we're going to release it first on tablets and PC.
Right.
The game itself is going to be episodic, so we have 5 episodes planned. Because we're a small team, we have to release it in stages.
Yes.
Then our end goal is when all the episodes are out, we're going to put it onto console, so you'll be able to buy it as one complete package.
But gameplay-wise, it's quite simple. You don't have to, murder your peers on the internet with, the ability to flex your wrist, and it's really a case of think about it, push, push on the screen, interact with the object, and take your time. So you can literally put it on anything, like any console or platform, because, like gameplay-wise, it's not difficult. Thinking-wise. That's where the challenge is.
Okay, here's the challenge. You see that camera over there, camera 1. You've each got 15 seconds to tell us about your Django. Pretend you're doing a promo about your game and you're selling it to the audience out there.
In a world where everyone wants to be an indie developer or YouTube commentator, comes a man from a gaming era past who will come and resolve game things without using credit cards and other current gaming tropes. Buy Django when it's out. One day.
I was going to say what he said, but if you love gaming and you love the games that you played in your childhood, this really is the game that you want to play. If you love great visuals and you like a good laugh, then really get your hands on Django.
If you want to do something with your kids, play our game, because your dad will probably know how the puzzles are solved more than you do.
Good stuff. There you go. How cool is this? I read that Visa are trialing this new payment method at the Olympics, and what they've done is they've got a bunch of athletes, and they've said, what kind of technology would make it easier for you, something that's inconspicuous, something that is not that obvious, without you having to pull out a credit card. So they've given them these rings. They've designed the ring, and inside the ring it's got radio technology, it's got the very basics of authentication, and it basically is a very simple thing. You wear this ring around your finger, you walk up to a credit card payment machine, you want to pay for something, you just swipe your ring across and you put in the payment. Now the ring doesn't need any battery power because it draws the battery power from the transmission that it does with the actual credit card machine.
Okay.
And they're trialing this with a bunch of athletes at the Olympics, at the Olympic Village at the Rio Olympics this year. And it's waterproof, and it's very secure, and you're able to make payments by just wearing this payment ring.
One of the payment mechanisms I've been trying and really loving is WeChat. WeChat has a wallet with SnapScan owned by Standard Bank. And I've been having a really, really useful time with it. I can't tell you how often I have used it instead of a credit card, or I left my wallet at home one day. You can withdraw money from an ATM without a card. It's a really, the evolution of payment opportunities is just getting better and better and better.
Absolutely. And it's amazing we forget about so many of them. The other day I was with a colleague of mine. I bought him something overseas and he wanted to do an EFT payment. So we both bank with FNB. As we know, FNB is one, numerous accolades of being the most innovative bank in the world. But he said to me, no, we can just do the geo payment.
Isn't it great?
And I completely forgot about geo payment. So, he turned his phone on, I turned my phone on, and the phone saw that we both bank with FNB, and within seconds the payment was made.
Yeah.
He didn't have to enter my credentials and
I
add a payment.
I did it standing in a car park in Kenya with another South African, demonstrating just how easy it is to use it. Just fantastic.
Yeah. Well, tell us about them. I mean, are you using M-Pesa? How has payments made it easier for you in your life to pay people across the board? How do you pay people? Well, we just described a couple of different things and innovations, but as we know, across the continent, there are just numerous technologies being used right now. We'd love to hear from you what you use. Now, recently, Africa's largest health exhibition was staged in Midrand, and the TechBusters team were there, and then we chatted to a company called MBST. They sent us an email to tell us about this interesting technology, and we looked at this and we said, wow, this sounds interesting. Listen to this. Nuclear magnetic resonance therapy is what they call it. And basically it's technology that repairs cells and bone, particularly for people who have suffered injury as a result of a sporting activity or old age, where you've got things like arthritis. What is quite revolutionary about this technology is that it does away with surgery, the common way of dealing with such medical issues. Now take a look at this. It's brilliant, and it's now available to the market here in Africa.
Here we are just interested in what is going into your body, and it will affect the metabolism of the cells, the direct energy input, which is done by resonance. That's a physical phenomenon. This direct input of energy can be used by the cell metabolism to speed up, to function normal. And doing this, you get your pain relief. And doing this, for example, here you get the growth of your cartilage, which has been proven by up to 30% in thickness and more than 20% in volume.
It's the regeneration process for cartilage or for the metabolism in bone. There are different illnesses where your bone, like for example, gets a low density, and where you have to bring it back to normal, or after fractures you can use it. So this is all for regeneration. If you look for osteoarthritis, of course it goes from the neck to the thoracic to the lumbar spine to all the joints like shoulder, hips, elbow, hand, wrist, or knee or ankle. And osteoporosis, you can treat parts of the body, especially after accidents, after injuries, or there's a whole body treatment for the osteoporosis for the mostly elderly people. But the pain relief is something what you very often feel during the session, during the 9 or 7 times 1 hour therapy, and the cartilage thickness or the going back to normal density of bone you do not feel. But with less pain, you do more, you walk more, you improve your muscles, and you go back to normal life. This is something where you need 6 to 8 weeks, and then you have the 100% of this, what happens. And the success rate is fairly high. If you choose the right patient, you cannot do it to everybody. You shouldn't say big money and sell it to everybody. No, if you choose the right patient, you have a success rate between 80 to 90%. The revolutionary is different. First of all, cartilage growth. Every medical person says it's not possible, but it is. It has been proven by MRI scanning. Secondly, of course, without an operation. You can do something where very often the orthopedic surgeon says you have to be operated, you have to get an arthroscopy or whatever. Knowing that lots of people do have osteoarthritis, do have a tear of the meniscus, do have osteoporosis, without knowing anything. They don't feel anything. Knowing that, you know that an osteoarthritis can be painful, but it has not to be painful. There are going around millions of people with tears in the meniscus, without any pain. And if you get your metabolism of the cell to the normal stage, then you do not have pain. Then you feel normal, and this is something what nuclear magnetic resonance therapy can do.
It has been already easily 10 years, we can say we've been doing it on a broad base. We have a lot of customers who have already been 13, 14 years treating patients with this technology. But the international expansion just started a few years ago, and I was actually the spokesperson for South Africa because of course there are other markets, America, Canada, Asia, that the company was looking at, and I said no, Africa is a very important market, and in Africa it is South Africa that we have to address first. We are looking at a time frame of about 3 months. We're speaking to medical insurance companies, we're speaking to the big hospital developers, hospital chains. So all this will take a little time, but we hope that within a matter of 3 months, sometime around September, October, we'll be able to treat the first patients. It is also important for us, despite of all the clinical trials and the data we have from Europe, we want to have good data here in South Africa. We want doctors who can really speak about their experience. We want to have treated South African patients. Therefore, we have a small targeted market of very renowned practitioners, doctors, orthopedic surgeons, whom we're going to be cooperating with, and to first get good data here in South Africa, and then we'll address the broader market. We avoid very deliberately the term alternative therapy because it sounds as if it's alternative medicine, but this is as hard science as it gets. This is physics, and we're using the same technology as you have in the most sophisticated imaging technique, MRI. Therefore, it is definitely evidence-based mainstream medicine. But yes, we are the only company that provides this technology. It's patented to us, and therefore we don't compete with anyone. We don't need to be number 1 or number 2. But yes, we believe there's a big market, if I may say that in a commercial term, but there's a big demand. There are many people who are really suffering from this disease, cannot have surgical intervention, but have to deal with the pain and all the other effects of degenerative diseases, and we definitely want to help these people.
I'm holding in my hand the latest device from Huawei. It is their flagship device. It's called the P9, and you'll notice it's gone into demo mode in the background, giving you some of the features of this particular phone. But it's quite an exceptional phone, and Toby and I have been following the progress of this company, and you've looked at the various iterations of phones over the years and the latest one where they are now. And this is seriously a world-class phone that's playing with all the top guys in that Premier League of, premier devices in the world right now, and they've built an exceptional device. And what's amazing about the device is the actual finish. Firstly, if you look around it, it's got an aluminium finish. The screen itself, as you can see previously, is really incredibly rich in color. But the standout feature of the phone, and the interesting one, is that they've partnered with the company Leica. And if you don't know who Leica is, they've been doing optics and photography for over 100 years. It's a German company. And you'll notice that this phone, the differentiator is that it's got 2 separate photographic lenses over here. The one captures the images in color, the other one captures the images in black and white. And the differentiator that Huawei say is that they managed to create and capture richer color features, because as soon as you take a photograph, you've got the one lens capturing in black and white, the one in color, and then they've got special technology and a special algorithm that takes the images that it's just captured and combines it to form the rich images that it captures on the phone, which, Toby, is quite unique, and it's quite interesting, the focus on the camera. Every company is doing it now.
Everyone is, but Huawei, as I understand, is the first company to do the dual cameras.
Yes.
The partnership with Leica is great. The quality of the photograph is really fantastic.
I'm actually going to ask the camera behind me to capture the picture I'm going to take of you. Just to give you an idea of the richness of the colors, will you do me a favor and smile? A rare occasion. There you go. Look at that good-looking guy. Now look at this picture that I've just taken of Toby, and you can see how rich the colors are on his face. I mean, look how it captures the colors. It's quite an extraordinary picture. It's difficult to tell on television, but you'll appreciate it with technology. But you and I often have this conversation. Isn't it amazing that every single launch that we've attended in the last year and a half, compared to what it was like 5 years ago, where they spoke about specs and how much RAM and how much memory and how much this and that. It's now all about the camera and what it can produce. This is the life that we're living in. People want to capture those great moments.
It's amazing to think that there was a time where there was a completely separate camera industry, and now it is for professionals and for hobbyists and prosumers, as they called it. Compact cameras virtually disappeared. Everybody has a smartphone, and a smartphone has become the device that we all use to capture pictures. That incredible picture that you took over Pretoria was on a smartphone.
On a smartphone. It was an iPhone 6 Plus,
that is just incomprehensible to a professional photographer 4 or 5 years ago. They would, the fact that mirrorless is now the new DSLR. I mean, it's really something. So all credit to Huawei, the first manufacturer to put two cameras on the back of the phone, and let's just see how this handset does for them.
But they're doing extraordinary things. I mean, the engineering that goes inside a device, if you ever get a chance to see one where you can't really take them apart, but the engineering and how they fit everything with all the aerials and antennas and that, it's quite extraordinary. But we'll actually do a show on that in the future, and taking a phone apart to give you an idea of what a device looks like on the inside, because it's quite extraordinary. And that's it for tonight's show. We hope you've enjoyed it, and interesting insights coming in from Toby, and we'd love to see you and hear from you again next week. Thank you.
Please let us know your comments on the show. Tell us what cameras you're using or some of your favorite features. You can tweet us at TechBustersSA, email techbusters@abn360.com. He's at Aki Anastasiou. I'm at Shapshak. This has been TechBusters. Thanks for joining us.